Hey, FB. FB Live. What's going on, Facebook? Where are you? It's dreary here today. Cold and dreary. Talking about how feeling guilty keeps you from feeling wealthy and being wealthy. The guilt piece. Who's got some guilt? Let's see if people are hopping on. Welcome to my humble abode. If you're on, let me know. Talking about guilt as a block to wealth. What's going on? Hi, Susie, my gorgeous cousin. Talking about guilt and wealth. What's the connection? Hi, Shania. Hey, Scott. Guilt and wealth, guilt and wealth, guilt and making money, and why it's a block to making money. Hey, Brenda. Hey, gorgeous. Guilt as a block to wealth is what I'm talking about today. I'm going to get started as people are hopping on. My family's on here today. Hey, Ian. Hey, Miriam. Talking about guilt and making money, guilt and wealth. Funny that I'm talking about this today. Today is my parents' 50th anniversary and 75th birthday. And we sent them to Curacao to celebrate. We treated them to a vacation in Curacao. But ironic that I'm decided to talk about guilt today because my parents are so good at making me feel guilty. So I don't know if that's something like that just kicks in when you become a parent as you start to be good at guilt. But guilt is a block for money, is a block for wealth. So happy birthday and anniversary, Mom and Dad. Thank you for being so great at teaching me what not to do. Love you. So what's guilt about and why is it a block to wealth? Okay, let's break it down. Guilt is you taking responsibility. Hey, Andrea. Guilt is you taking responsibility for something that is not your problem. Okay, that's what guilt is. Guilt is you taking responsibility for something that is not your problem. Hey, Zora. Hey, beautiful. Take that in on a deep, deep, deep level. When have you ever taken responsibility for something that is not your problem? It usually comes up with feelings of, hey, Amy, with feelings of codependence. How is someone going to feel about that? Oh, no. Oh, the guilt. Oh, the guilt. How is someone going to feel about that? And why is that a block to wealth? Well, feeling wealthy is about really being about you, right? Being wealthy and feeling wealthy is about being focused on you, and guilt is about being focused on other people. It's the codependency piece, right? Because guilt is about you taking responsibility for something that is not your problem, and that's another way in which codependency creeps up and gets into the way of our manifesting. Because for you to manifest, you got to be focused on you. You can't be focused on other people. You can't be focused on how they're feeling and what's going on with them and how are they going to feel if you're wealthy and how are they going to feel if you're enjoying your life. And subconsciously, that can be a block, right? Subconsciously, it can absolutely be a block to creating wealth for yourself. Because how is everybody going to feel about that? Margaret Lynch talks a lot about that. How is your family going to feel if you're wealthy? How are your friends going to feel if you're wealthy? And what does that bring up for you? And if it brings up guilt, that's you feeling responsible for something that is not yours to feel responsible for. And where does that come from? We're usually trained to feel that way. We're trained to feel that if we take too much, we should feel guilty for it. If we have something, we should share it. Or to not take too much. Or if we have, someone else doesn't have, which can create feelings of guilt. The like taking from other people. But that's usually because people aren't giving to themselves. So be aware of that concept and idea that if you're feeling guilty about stuff, if you're noticing guilt popping up around, ooh, I made some money, now I need to go do something nice for someone else with it. It might be a resistance to making more money. It might be a resistance to holding on to money. It might be feeling guilty that you have something for yourself. And you can't really build wealth if you lose that momentum so quickly. And if you're not comfortable with holding on to it, right? If you're not comfortable with standing in your power, if you're not comfortable with having what you want and how you want it. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for the hearts. So guilt is you feeling responsible for something that is not your problem, that is not yours to own, that is not yours to be responsible for. And if you're used to feeling responsible for people because it was a survival mechanism or a coping mechanism, then it's probably going to be your default to feel responsible or feel guilty about what you have or what you could have. And subconsciously, the subconscious really doesn't know any different from whether you have it or you could have it, right? It's going to keep protecting you regardless of it's like showing up in actual reality. If you're thinking about making money, but in the back of your mind, that makes you feel guilty, and your subconscious that makes you feel guilty, you're going to be creating resistance to making money because your subconscious is operating from that level of survival that keeps you right where you're at. So notice in your life where you might be taking responsibility for things that aren't yours to be responsible for. And look at how that is also an avoidance. Okay, pay attention. Look at how this is an avoidance of looking at your own shit. Hey, Shania, so true. It is so true. When we're focused on others, it's a resistance and an avoidance to looking at our own stuff. Over responsible for other people's feelings, over responsible for other people's stuff means we're not responsible. We're not taking responsibility for our own stuff. We're deflecting.